رمضان 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 يا حبيب رمضان رمضان ليتك دوما قريب.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And Ramadan Mubarak to all as well. And I greet the guest speakers as well. I'm honored to be here today to give this lecture. I'd like to thank Alhaji Adekombi for all his contributions to the Deen. And I pray Allah continues to reward him for his efforts. Okay, so are we awake? Are we all awake? Okay, that's good. After Brother Nee's very intense lecture, right? It shows that there's a lot going on in our economy today. But I ask ourselves, how are we going to react? How are we going to react? You know, there's a part in the Quran that says, "Fa'inna ma'al usri yusra, inna ma'al usri yusra." That's chapter 94. Right, and it says, after every difficulty is relief. Indeed, after every difficulty is relief. It's repeated twice. You know, it's repeated twice to encourage us, you know, to console us and everything. There's also a part that I like in the Quran as well. It references lightning. I think that's right, chapter 30 and also 13. It says, I'm not going to quote, I'm not a scholar, but you know, the reference, and I'm not paraphrasing here, is that when you see lightning, it means rain, Abi. But how do the farmers react? They're hopeful, aspirational. It means maybe there'll be rain, my harvest. But when you see lightning, how does a traveler react? He's in fear. I didn't bring my umbrella. Oh. Will there be flood? Oh? Will my car, you know, be in a flood? Will they delay my flight? You know, so you see one event, two reactions. So the question for us now here today is, what is going to be our reaction in these turbulent times? Are we going to be fearful or hopeful? You know, so let's try and be hopeful. Let's try and be strong. Let's try and learn what we can from these times. You know, COVID came in 2020. It was devastating as well. But we all learned. We all took from it. We all survived. And we're here again. So let's see, you know, what we can. If I was going to retitle my presentation, it would be called "The Rainy Day Finally Came." And not because of the example I just gave from the Quran, no, not that. But what financial advisors usually say, save for a rainy day, invest for a rainy day. And people usually are like, yeah, whatever, which rainy day. But guess what? The rainy day finally came. And the question I have for you is, do we all have our umbrellas? How many of us have our umbrellas? Are we ready for the times we are in today? That is the question we need to ask ourselves. Are we ready for the times we are in today? If you're not ready, if you're ready, alhamdulillah. If you're not, no problem. We're going. So that's why we're here. So it's just to get us ready for times like this. So what do we need to do? The fact that you are here means that you're already at the first step of getting ready with your umbrella. Because no matter what is happening here, what I'm trying to do now is to bring it to the personal level. To the personal level that, what are you going to do? You're not in government. You know, what can you do personally for your lives, for your families to move ahead? The first thing is a financial intelligence. You have to educate yourselves on knowing, you know, what's good on the economy. And Brother Nee has done excellently in that. You know, things like inflation, he's spoken about it. The time value of money, he's spoken about it. But let me give an example, or something that might even make you reflect. How many of you have had babies? Many of you here. What did you do with the owo they gave you? I'm sure many of you spent it. But if you had invested it for that child, by the time the child is 10, 11, 12, even 18, can you imagine how much that money will have been? So this lecture is also for us to try and improve on our habits. I was thinking, if you put 200 naira in your wallet last year, just forgot about it, 200 naira could have bought you 3 oranges last year. Today, if you bring it out of your wallet, it'll buy you 2 oranges. That is how the economy has been. So what that means is that you should invest. And even in Islamic finance, one of the things that is prohibited is hoarding. Hoarding is prohibited. So you should always deploy your resources to economic activities. So moving on, financial intelligence. So educate yourself. Financial intelligence is basically learning how to do more with what you earn. Learning how to do more with what you earn and building your personal wealth. Understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Assets are things that put money in your pocket. Liabilities are things that take money away from your pocket. I'll give a few examples. Is a car an asset or a liability? Someone may say an asset is a liability, a car is a liability. If you drive around your car for personal use, it's a liability. However, if you use it for Uber or taxi, car hire, then it brings money into your pocket. So it's an asset. So if we think like that, then we'll be careful, how we acquire our items. Then knowing the difference between saving and investment. People say, oh, save. But saving is just keeping your money safely. So if I get a low return. But investing means taking that saving and investing it into more profitable ventures. So once we understand that, we can also move ahead. Another thing that can help us in these times is a mindset change. A mindset change. People believe that the more you earn, the more you build your wealth. That is not true. In fact, the more you earn, the more you spend. Because those things you were eyeing when you were broke, immediately money enters your pocket, you've run to go and buy it. So it's not about how you earn, it's about your own personal habits. Putting something aside regularly. If you're able to put something aside regularly, then when you're earning 100K and you can manage it, it means that the day you earn 1 million, then you can manage it. If not, if you earn that 1 million, you will spend it all if you do not have the discipline. So those are the things that we have to learn. A savings culture and investment culture, learning to pay ourselves first. Whether you're in personal employment or you have your own business, when your income comes in, you have to first think of that umbrella that I spoke about. The umbrella I spoke about, you take something aside from that first, and then you spend all the time. You need to be consistent. If you say, oh, I don't earn much now, believe me, when you earn more, it won't be any different. Okay, so budgeting. Budgeting is also very important. Basically, putting together all that you earn from every nook and cranny, bringing it together, putting it on, if it's Excel, if it's usually there's templates that can help you with budgeting, and then all your expenses. What we usually advise is that invest about 30% of your income and then spend 70%. How do you invest the 10%? About 10% on investments you do not touch. We call that sit down look, don't touch it. Then another 10% on save to spend. What does save to spend mean? For example, you pay your rent. You have to save to pay your rent, but you have to save it, right? So that's what we call save to spend. And then another 10% on educating yourself. As Brother Nee said, you have to educate yourself to survive in these times. The world is changing. There's artificial intelligence. There's so many things going on. We have to be ready to take advantage of whatever opportunities are out there. So you have to educate yourself. And then there's a 70% I spoke about on spending. 55% on basic needs, feeding, clothing, all of that. 10% to enjoy yourself. Of course, why not? And then 5% on helping hand. Why do we budget for helping hand? That's because you can actually over give charity and then you are now the one in debt. This happened before. So you have to even budget for that as well. And then we move on to investing. What do you need to do? The first thing I'll say is seek professional advice. So many billions have been lost to scammers, to Ponzi schemes, to deals that are too good to be true. When you are ill, you go to a doctor. If you have maybe a court case, you go to a lawyer. But when you have small income, you say, oh, let me do it myself. Why? Call a professional. Let them do it for you. And guess what? They don't charge you. Financial advisors don't charge because they want you to come to them. They don't charge. So go to them, let them advise you. And then you go through several steps. What are your financial goals? What are you saving for? Oh, I want to save for my education. I want to save to go for Umrah. I want to go to save for Hajj. I want to save for a mortgage for my deposit. I want to save to buy a car. Whatever it is you want to do, they'll talk to you about it. Then what are your, what's your time horizon? Oh, 1 year, I want to be done. Okay. Oh, it's 3 years. Oh no, it's 5 years. Then what is your risk appetite? Is it low risk? What is low risk? The stock market is going down. Please sell. I don't want to be there anymore. Or, no, don't worry, I'll wait. The market will turn, leave it there. So are you risk tolerant? Are you risk averse? Are you risk seeker? They'll determine all that. Based on this, you can now have your own investment portfolio and start building your umbrella. Right. Okay. There are several investment options for you. Of course, I will only be recommending halal options. Why? Because Allah has said we should, stay away from riba. Although we can trade. You can go to Quran chapter 2, verse 275 and 276. It speaks about riba and so many other places. So we try and avoid that. So you have mutual funds. Mutual funds, what mutual funds does is that you don't even have to, you know how they say, just invest and go and sleep. What that does is that you have a professional fund manager managing your funds, and you have different types of mutual funds depending on those financial objectives I spoke about earlier. So you have short-term mutual funds at fixed income. You have balanced mutual funds with balanced fixed income and the stock market. You should also have takaful savings that could also help you if you have short-term needs. And then you can invest in the stock market. By investing in the stock market, we said, oh, things are tough right now. But there are several things. You have what you call defensive sectors. Defensive sectors are those sectors that no matter what is happening in the economy, they must be there. Food and beverages, everybody must eat. Pharmaceuticals, we must save ourselves if we are ill. Telecoms, Wi-Fi. In fact, some people might either buy Wi-Fi before eating. Then, of course, we now have logistics. Because there's so many online businesses, it means that there's so much delivery going on. That's also a thriving industry. You have solar, you have renewable energy. So different things that there are opportunities there. Then, of course, you have Islamic bonds, sukuk. I'm sure everybody has heard of sukuk because of the federal government. Those are also available for you. Then there's real estate. Real estate might be slightly capital intensive, but there might be opportunities out there. It doesn't have to be a house. It could be a flat. It could be with people to earn some rent. And you can, use that for your future. So with all of this, we believe that if you start, you can, move forward with your life and get your umbrella ready. So that concludes my presentation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak. Sorry, one more thing I wanted to add. Pay your zakat. Anytime we talk about money, we have to talk about zakat. And zakat is essential. You do it once a year. Please pay your zakat. And also note that you can't pay zakat on income that is not halal. So please note that as well. Thank you.
Ramadan.